So here's the question people ask us. Eric and Jennifer, what do you do after you've agreed to work with a client? And my question back to you would be, like no different than our clients, is do you know yourself? Do you know your spouse? Do you know your mom and dad? Do you know your siblings? And with some of these family businesses, you got aunts, uncles, and cousins. And the big question is, do you really know who you are? And here's why. If you do not know who you are, you will find yourself in conflict trying to be in healthy relationships with other people. And most people tend to start externally. And what we found over the years is we got to start internally, which, by the way, Eric and Jennifer, the Garcia family, has to start internally too. So this is, again, so much of our work has to do with dealing with families with wealth and influence, but all this works for the Garcia family. And that's the broader message we want to give. So do you know yourself? That's where we really head to very quickly. And it is really the pre-work before we even have our first in-person meeting. So here are the 3 tools we use for that. And we'll do a quick overview and then we'll drill down. And that is this one. It's called Life 7 F's, and it's the long form, because later on in another podcast, we'll talk about the Life 7 F's short form that we use every month or every time we meet with our clients. And here are the 7 areas of life we work through. We work through faith. And by the way, it's not my definition of faith. It's the definition of faith that our clients have. We meet our clients where they are. Wouldn't it be nice if everybody met us where we are? It'd be a refreshing day, right, in our life. So faith, family, finance, firm, which is your occupation, fitness, and that's not just how many times you go to the gym, but it's really a 360 view of your life, friends, and fun. Those are 7 areas that we call Life 7 F's, and it really gives us a 360 view of our client. And by the way, they score this in real time, 1 to 10. 1 being, and let's just take finance. I'm really struggling with budgeting right now. It's a 1. I'm in the cellar. I need help. Or they could score it a 10, which is it's perfect. Now, we don't really allow our clients to do 10s because we always feel like there's space for growth. But we score 0 to 10. The next tool that we use, so that's more of a scoring mechanism. It's part of our relational vital signs that we're going to talk about later on with you in a future podcast. The next tool we use is actually the 5 love language quiz, which a lot of people have read Dr. Gary Chapman's book, The 5 Love Languages, but very few people have ever experienced it the way we drill down into it with our clients. And I'll give you a little peek in the window. We don't just talk about your love language. And it's words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, physical touch, and quality time. Those are the 5 love languages. We don't just stay there. We actually talk about your dialect. So if you're a words of affirmation person, it's not just Jennifer saying, Eric, you look nice today. That does nothing for me. But if you say, Eric, I appreciate your hard work. I appreciate the integrity that you have and the honesty that you have. That's dialect. That's breaking down the love language to personalizing it for how it impacts me and what is important to me. So we have our clients take the 5 love language quiz. It's free. A version of it is free online, and they send it to us. And then we actually build out a chart, and we chart the entire family on what their primary and secondary love languages are. And I'll stop there with the overview. We'll dig into that a little bit deeper later. Then the next one, which is just, here's what our clients say about this next assessment. It is as if somebody had a camera in my life everywhere I go. That's how accurate the assessment is. And it's a personality profile. It's called Leading from Your Strengths, and the couples version is called Marriage Insights. And what we've done is we've married that assessment with Dr. John Trent's intellectual property that basically takes the 4-quadrant assessment and says, here are animals that represent each one of those characters, each one of those personality profiles, if you will. Lion, otter, golden retriever, and beaver. And on top of that, and again, it might take you 8 minutes to take this assessment. Within seconds of being done, it gives you a 20 to 22 page report that breaks down who you are in an amazing way. And even more unique about this assessment is it gives you your natural style and your adaptive style. And here's the difference. In Jennifer and I's language, your natural style is how God hardwired you. If everything was perfect in your environment you were operating in, this is how you would score as a lion, as an otter, as a golden retriever, and as a beaver. And I'll define these here in a second. The adaptive score, though, which is just absolutely fascinating, is this is how you've adapted up or down based on the stress that the culture is putting on you. And the way we look at that is, and by the way, the maximum score would be 100% on any of them. And so let's just say you're 100% lion, and here's the personality of a lion. I'm 100% lion, which means I'm a leader. I can be loud. I tend to make quick decisions. All those things. If you're going to battle, you want a lion leading you, if you will. And let's say I score 100 naturally, but my adaptive is 50. The question is, what's happening? That's a 50-point downward variance. What's happening in my world that has me underperforming in that area? We're going to drill down that a little bit later, deeper. But so we take 3 core tools in asking our clients the question, do you know yourself? And do you know the people that are sitting in the room with you? Because here's our overall statement. If you do not know yourself and you do not know the people in the room, how on earth are you not going to become a statistic? So just in review, we got 3 tools. One is Life's 7F's long form. It takes 7 categories in your life, and you score them out. And each one on the long form has 8 questions or more attached to it. And then you do an accumulative score of that group. The second is the 5 love language quiz. And again, we don't settle for just, I'm a words of affirmation person. We drill down into what specific words are meaningful to you. Because until you know that, you don't know yourself, nor do you know others that you're doing this work on with your family. And then the third tool we use is the Leading from Your Strengths Marriage Insights tool, which is a 4-quadrant personality profile in which we've used the John Trent personality profiles attaching to that, which is lion, otter, golden retriever, beaver. And we're going to break all this down for you in a future podcast. But this is how we launch before we even have our first in-person meeting. All of our clients have to do this pre-work. And then typically about 30 days after the pre-work is done, then we schedule our first in-person meeting. And you can imagine how powerful it is when people can sit around the table and actually talk about who they are and have language to put to it. and how an individual can feel in the room and actually get to know their family members. Actually, as siblings, we naturally preposition our parents, but do we actually know who our parents are? We naturally preposition our siblings because we've grown up with them our whole life, but do we actually know who they are? Usually the answer is no. And so what we're excited about in this podcast and future podcasts is really digging into this thing we call relational health. And these 3 tools is what we use to kick ourselves off with our clients on the journey of getting to know yourself and then getting to know the people that are in the room. And typically those are siblings and parents as we work with our clients on a regular basis.